We just want to know the basic information, and then from there we'll investigate further as to what it actually is and stuff. But it's like there's no such thing as a dumb question, right? The only dumb question is the question never asked. So
but if we were at home and we see something out there, like we see the nuclear sub comes out in front of our house and the tender goes out there and dash and other boats come around. But if we see something and we're saying to each other, oh, that looks kind of weird. We don't ever quite know, should we call you yet? Or would we be doing what he said earlier, is forcing you to send out the troops and call the helicopter? At what point do we, or does that not happen?
No, it's going to get evaluated. I mean, we have our own system of evaluating things. Okay, it's like what is the actual picture that we're looking at? So your report, what the weather is, what we know operationally is happening in the area, and so then we take one and one and one and one. Intelligence that we might have about things that might happen or that are probably active in the area, etc. And analyze all those things and try to come up with an actual picture. But without those reports, think about it as a cake. If there's an ingredient missing, the cake isn't going to rise, right? So you might just be missing that little ingredient. For example, that was a good case that you brought up. That one, it turns out to be in investigations later on that that's a legitimate emergency, legitimate accident. But I'm going to give you an example. Same scenario. One of the Station Bellingham boats shows up on scene. The people jump out of the water immediately. The Bellingham crew goes on board, puts out the fire, picks the people out of the water, and they're all furious. It's like, why are they mad that the Coast Guard arrived, saved their boat, saved them? It's like, well, why do you think? In this economy. Yeah. So and that's with the way the economy is and stuff, those are the things that we need to pay attention to, is to things that might be happening. And if we don't have the entire story of what you might have noticed from the beginning, we might not be able to, for the investigator sides, be able to kind of add those little things, and then later when it goes into litigation and stuff, the fire department or whatever be able to correlate that to the insurance companies and stuff. Because at the end of it all, who ends up paying for it? One way or another, we all end up paying for it. So.
One time in '96 or '97 in the winter when it's dark at 4:30, we were sitting in our dining room playing cards after dinner, and we kept looking out the window thinking, that doesn't look right out there. And that spit, the Dungeness spit was on fire. We called the Coast Guard. That was before C.A.N. or anything. We didn't know any of you yet. But we called to report that. Yeah. That whole spit was burning.
So here's a couple of things I know that, to kind of give you some tools and things to kind of think about. Like Commander Bilodeau was saying, and Mr. Dyer. I've been all over the country. I've been in Alaska, Florida, California, Virginia, deployed overseas for several years, and now I'm here. This is my second time here in the area. But I'm originally from Puerto Rico, born and raised. So, so there's nobody better to know what is normal in your area than you that have been here, you that have your house here. You live in the community. You're not gonna pack up and leave like I'll be doing here next summer. I have to leave and go somewhere else and stuff. So what I've acquired for local area knowledge, it's gonna somewhat be lost and stuff. So we're relying on the local citizenship to be able to help the new people coming in to be able to make better decisions and relearn the community. So. I want to give examples of things and stuff. Depending on where your property is at, how many of you are sports fishers? Recreational fishermen, recreational boaters? How many of you like to go bird watching? How many of you like to go out for walks in the parks? Okay. How often do you do that? Several times a week, right? How many of you are campers? Okay. So you know those areas. You know what normal things are in your community, in your parks, you know, in your neighbors. You know who your neighbors are, right? So, for example, you're looking out in the water. You've been out there. You know who has lived in the area for more than 30 years? Okay, so you know we have some. Who knows what a gooey duck boat looks like and what a crab boat looks like? Okay, so we still, you know, there's still some people that know the difference with that. Okay, who knows the difference between a fishing boat and a recreational boat? Okay, that's just those are basic things. You know what areas in front of your house on a regular basis, on a daily basis, you notice certain type of activity, certain type of boats and stuff. Okay, here's another question. Who knows where camping areas are close to your house, close to your property? Okay. Where people like to go and walk the beach on a regular basis, you know, in front of your property, close to your property. Who knows that? Right? You notice that it's the stuff that it's out of place. If it's out of place to you that are there on a regular basis, we're certainly going to want to know. Now, might it be an illicit activity? Might it be somebody in trouble? That's what we want to go and eventually go and find out. Now, is it by, you know, taking if we have a satellite going at that time, if we have an airplane going on at that time, if we have a boat in the water, if we have a patrol agent closer to the area. Electronics are only going to do so much for us. One of the things that we're always going to do, there's nothing better than the human intelligence. Okay? The human intelligence, what we call human, is going to be the last thing that we're always going to be relying on. So that's what we're really going to, okay, I'm going to question, every single time I'm going to question what that picture on the satellite, that picture on the airplane, the picture from the boat and stuff really looks like and stuff. But if it's somebody telling me with their own two eyes, description of what they're seeing at that time, I'm going to rely on that a lot more than what the camera picture from 2 hours ago, haziness and stuff is really at that time. So just a couple of things that you just mellow upon and stuff that if it's what is normal, what you feel comfortable. That's another thing too. That's sixth sense. How many of you have heard that? That little feeling in the back of your neck and stuff. Don't ignore it. That's something that we tell our crews and stuff. Don't ever, ever, ever ignore it. So what if 9 out of 10 times you were wrong? But that one time, that's all it takes. The one time that we might have, for example, missed the gentleman trying to make it into LAX. That's all it would have taken, right? So, yes.
I think I have a useful point that I can make that ties the lady who talked about the light being out and for so long and not being reported, and the fishing boat that went down. Always in doubt, make the call, because I know the owner of that fishing boat, and what happened was that the guys on the boat called the owner, and the owner called me, and they hadn't even called the Coast Guard yet. So you could have been the very first person to notify anyone that could do anything about it to help that boat, because it didn't do much good for the guy to call the owner, and it didn't do the owner much good to call me, except that I could then call the Coast Guard. So when you see something, don't hesitate, go ahead and call.